Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Harvey. I'll be hosting this meeting, transit committee. Voice is getting thick. The transit committee meeting this February the 15th, 2022. And it's a virtual meeting. And I'm gonna start off by seeing who's all here today. Start off calling the committee members, please. And Brandon Oliver won't be here till she won't be here at all. Is Georgia here? Georgia, are you here? John Besson, are you here? His
Present.
mic is up. John, thank you. Sandy Aldrich, Sandy, are you here? And Bill Denalo, are you here? We only have three.
We also
Remember? Yeah, we only have three here.
we have Bill Loftus now, Harvey.
Okay. Bill Loftus.
Bill, do you want to introduce yourself? We can't hear you.
Your mic, Bill.
Still can't hear you. It looks like you're unmuted. Well, this is Bill from the Multimodal
No,
Transit Commission.
I talked to him earlier. Yeah, I talked to him earlier.
We did a sound check and he checked out.
How's that?
That's good.
All right.
Good. Just have Bill.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you, Harvey, but yeah, I'm Bill Loftus. I'm on the multimodal and I've been assigned to the transit committee, so happy to be.
Bill, would you like to introduce yourself? Now I can't hear you. Oh, this is just ridiculous.
We can hear you, Harvey.
Good. Let's see. My internet connection was slow. I never saw that before. Anyway, that's committee members that are here on this day. That's good. We have one, two. Well, let's see, Bill, John, and myself. So that doesn't give us enough.
It does not give us enough to vote on items. This is Dennis. No.
Okay, that doesn't give us a quorum. Okay, see who's here on the staff. Jessica?
Yep, I'm here. Jessica Morris, Assistant Director of Transportation. I'm going to recommend that we don't move forward with the meeting if we don't have a quorum. There's too much staff time and volunteer time that goes into these meetings to not have a group.
Do we need to send out a doodle poll asking people when they're available so that maybe there's a better time to meet that's more convenient for people. Because the last time we had a full quorum was August 17th, I think. Right? Is that right?
We can certainly try to do that.
Yeah, I understand.
Bill Danilik's here. Is that enough?
Well, I understand what you're saying, John. Okay. Well, I understand what you're saying, John, but when you signed up for the committee, the time was already set that we
It's true.
meet.
That's true. I'm just trying to think of ways that maybe, maybe there's, obstacles that people can't get around. Maybe people's schedules change. Maybe they are still interested in being involved, but they can't be here at a specific time. Like, for example, Brandon couldn't be here today because he had to work, and I don't know what the situation is for Rochelle, but like, I'd like to try and meet people where they're at sometimes. You know what I mean?
Actually, John, this is Eunice, and I wanted to say that Brendan did email staff to say he was going to be attending the meeting today.
At
And
4.
he may be late.
Right.
He's gonna be here at 4, Eunice.
Yeah. Right. But but my point is that he had to work, and maybe it's late, so maybe there's another time that's more convenient that people meet. I don't know. I mean, I'm just trying to think of an idea, throw ideas out there so that we don't end up in this situation month after month.
Yeah, we can
Well, in the past,
we can send out a doodle poll to see if there's a better time. And if you guys want to continue with the meeting today, I'm not opposed to it, especially if you've got somebody that'll be coming on in the next few minutes.
Yeah. Well, Brandon's supposed to be here. He doesn't get off work until 4. They switched his hours. And
Okay, well, let's just continue then. You'll have to skip anything that requires a vote at the moment.
okay. I'll just check, see who is here with staff. For Jessica, Eunice, Haley, and Amy. I know Barry's not going to be here today.
No,
And is
LaShawn?
LaShawn
No.
here?
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you, LaShawn.
And Haley is here as well.
Welcome to the Asheville Transit Committee. We meet on the third Tuesday of the month in the City Hall. We used to be there. We're doing it virtually now. The Transit Committee is a volunteer citizen board designed to offer input and guidance to the Asheville Transit System and the City Council. We do not set or change routes, control Asheville Transit's budget, or have the authority over staff, drivers, or management company. We are a group of citizens like you who are here to ensure community concerns are taken into consideration when setting public transit policy. We welcome public input in our meetings. They're allowed to comment on any matter under consideration prior to a final vote. If they have something to say, they raise their hand and sure we'll recognize you. And there's also 2 public comment periods. We have one at the start and we have one at the end. And any person addressing the committee is limited to 3 minutes. However, today we don't have anybody that is on board for that today. And we thank you for your attendance and thank you for your input. It's valuable. And it's our welcome announcement. We have the minutes 1, 2, and 3. We have no public comment today. And old business update on October 31st service improvements. Staff.
Hey, Hey Harvey. So in the agenda, there's a link to the past presentation we gave on this. We just wanted to leave it in there as a reference and keep you all updated that the service improvements, including the updated frequency for S3 and S6, as well as extended hours, is still on hold due to continued staffing issues with part. So that's the update on that.
Harvey, are you frozen?
Pardon me?
Oh, we couldn't hear anything and it looked as if you were frozen, so I just wanted to check.
The improvement project. Does anybody have anything on that?
The bus stop improvement project, yes, sorry. We're just continuing to move forward with that as well per our previous presentation. The main things going on right now that you can be aware of is an installation of a bus shelter at Gaston and Livingston at the Eddington Center. We recently awarded a contract for 8 demolitions of bus stops that are no longer used, of bus shelters that are either no longer used or in poor condition. And the ones that are in poor condition, we have plans to replace those with other bus stop facilities in the future. And there's also a demolition that's already completed at Livingston and Depot Street. So more updates to come as we continue to make those improvements.
Okay. Is there anything else for the update on the ARC fiscal year transit bus acquisition? I read something about we're going to get 3 buses at the end of the year.
Yes, we're going to be getting 3 buses. It was approved by council in December, and we've already ordered the buses. From what I understand, it's going to start production, or the company vendor is going to start production sometime in April. We anticipate delivery by the end of this year, or maybe sometime in spring of next year. So that's a quick update to members.
Okay. Do we need to know anything about the fiscal year budget for 22-23?
Other than it's ongoing, the budget staff have been meeting with all the departments to provide information as they work on the next fiscal year budget. And once we get some detailed information about transit budget for next fiscal year, we're going to bring it back to the transit committee and make a presentation to the members.
Okay. Bill has his hand raised. Okay, thank you, Bill. Okay, thank you, Eunice.
Thank you.
Under new business, we have the COA and the CTAA NCAATT partnership. Talked to Eunice about that, and that's that's concerning the fare boxes. And at the present time, is still being considered as far as what's going on with that. Is that true?
Yes, we're still ongoing that process. And we have a presentation that can give a better overview of that if you would like that. Real quick, Bill, Bill Office, did you have a comment? We can't hear you, sorry. If you Can he type it in the chat? Okay. Well, hopefully you can get your mic working. In the meantime, I can give that presentation on the NCAT partnership. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So this presentation is meant to provide an overview of the recent and ongoing partnership between the City of Asheville and NCAT, which is the National Center for Applied Transit Technology. And in this presentation, we'll look at NCAT's Technology Strike Team program, what it is, why the city's participating, who's on this strike team, and what's happened so far in this partnership and what our next steps are. So for context, first wanted to introduce you to CTAA, that's the Community Transportation Association of America, which is a national nonprofit membership association that advocates for mobility for all Americans, and they specialize in rural, small, urban, tribal, and specialized transportation services. And to this target group, they offer training on different transportation-related topics, including transit planning. And they've worked with over 50 communities through the federal and also non-federal technical assistance centers since 2018. And one of those centers is the National Center for Applied Transit Technology, which never really gets easier to say, but their goal is to make local transportation systems more efficient and just better through the integration of new technology. And so NCAT's role is to help these local systems learn what technology is best for their needs and how they can integrate it into their system. And one way that they do that is through their Technology Strike Team program. And they solicited applications from transit agencies for technical assistance in 2021, and they began this, I believe, in 2020. And the program is to help apply new technologies that will address operational challenges or help agencies meet specified goals. So we applied for this in 2021 for technical assistance to evaluate our current fare payment system and to consider opportunities for potential technology improvements. Emphasis on potential. So we applied in June, we were awarded in July, and we first initially met with the NCAT team in August, at the end of August of 2021. So who makes up this strike team? We have obviously the City of Asheville Transit Division, and we work with the NCAT or CTAA team members who act as facilitators. And NCAT is working with consultants from Hatch who are providing the technology expertise. Hatch is an engineering firm who focus on revenue systems and emerging technologies. They have a lot of expertise in helping agencies like ours do this all over the US, and they're a leading expert in open payment systems. So far we have met with our strike team and done this journey mapping exercise, which is basically a deep dive into our current system, what technology we're using on our buses, what's our process for handling the money and getting it in the bank and that whole process, as well as things like our workforce and different problems that we have encountered over the years. We also work together to identify key stakeholders whose voices we want to hear from throughout this process. And we've begun conversations with those stakeholders. So we met with different art personnel. That includes their maintenance team, the bus drivers, people at customer service, and anyone who's handling the tickets. We also met with different internal city departments, including our finance team and IT. And we also met with Better Buses Together and the transit committee members. Whoever was interested in that meeting, who was available to come, you might remember that meeting. And the purpose with these initial conversations is really to get, one, to provide an overview that this is happening, that the city is looking into this, and then two, to get an initial temperature read, if you will, of how people, the experiences people are having with our current fare system, what the pain points are, what they would like to see in a different system if there were to be changes in the future. And moving forward, we're going to continue to have these stakeholder conversations. Our next main move is to take a deep dive into the technology options that are out there and narrow down the options into the ones that are most feasible for our system and our constraints and our needs. And then bring the introduction of those technology options to those stakeholders and to the public as well. And throughout all of this, we'll continue to bring updates to Transit Committee. This is a rough timeline of what we're expecting for this process to move forward. So in the next couple of months, we're going to continue to meet with different stakeholder groups, and we're going to be doing that evaluation of the technology that I just mentioned. And we're hoping to reach with input from all these different groups as well. We're hoping to reach the development of final recommendations by or around June of this year. And so this is not to say, the development of the final recommendations is not to say that we're going to be beginning implementation of any new fare payment system at that exact date. It's just to reach a consensus of what we think could be approved on in the future. So that is my presentation. Did anyone have any questions?
I don't see anybody's hand raised.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Amy.
Yes.
And moving on, moving on to down the agenda. How to make a formal complaint. That was Rochelle's project right there, but she's not here today. So free fare for January 2022. How did that go?
So for context, we went fare free for January because there was a delay in getting the pass books that we sell. We sell monthly, annual, and ticket booklets that have 11 different pass bike rides in them. I didn't explain that very well. But because there was a delay, we made the fare free for January, which was more relevant for a January meeting, which got canceled. But now fares are reinstated and we have the passes in, so we're selling those now.
Oh, that's good. That's great. Are the operating hours at the station going to change or what?
This was just a comment to let you. We've put out rider alerts about this, but just so everyone's aware, because of staffing issues for drivers for the buses, some of the operators and dispatch are having to pick up shifts. And so there's less people at the transit station at certain hours. And I believe, LaShawn, is there also staffing issues with the actual customer service team?
The customer service, I have customer service until 5 on most most days. I'm thinking, sorry, 9:30 and for most days. The other days after 5, I won't have customer service. I have dispatch and supervisors also are driving routes so that we make sure we have the routes going.
Yeah, so we've put out rider alerts about this so that riders know, like if they're trying to bypass this, like earlier in the day is the best time to do it, and they can expect some delays occasionally. Bill, did you have your hand raised again?
Yeah, Bill's hand is raised. Bill Loftus.
Bill, if you put your question in the chat, I can read it out loud.
Earlier, I believe he wanted to know how many buses what kind of buses did we order? He had that in the chat.
You want to take that, Eunice?
Sure, we're getting diesel buses similar to what we currently have right now, 30-foot buses with all the different accessories that we have on the current buses. So it's fueled by diesel and 20 to 30-foot buses. And it's going to have all the bike racks, all the accessories we have in the current buses, as well as any other items that we currently have on the buses. I'm sorry, I sound repetitive, but that's basically it.
And Bill's other question. So he also followed up asking why not electric.
We are not at this time able to purchase 30-foot electric buses. There's no vendor out there that is manufacturing that, so we were not able to get electric buses. Based on the road configuration and all the challenges we've had with the current 35-foot buses, we decided not to buy the same size anymore.
I think Bill also wanted to know, okay, he got another question now. I was going to do his other question. Do they make small electrics?
Not at this time. None of the bus manufacturers do have the 30-foot electric buses.
On the fares, he was wanting to know, Amy, did the fares increase when we had fare free? That was another question to Bill.
I actually don't know. It's kind of hard to say that for certain because our ridership fluctuates so much from month to month. Not so much, but it fluctuates from month to month anyways. But if you go on the transit committee page in the monthly reports, you can see the ridership for December and January. I don't have those in front of me at this moment, so I can't say for sure, but you can look at those there.
Okay.
And
Are there any more questions? Oh, like I said, okay, thanks. Go ahead, Amy.
I was just gonna say for Bill to know, this wasn't the first time that we've ever gone fare free because during COVID we also were fare free, which might be useful information.
I had a question. The transit center, just to clarify with the hours, so they're opening at 9:30 and then they're operating until 5. Is that, or is it they're supposed to be operating until 9:30 p.m.? I'm just was confused. But they can only operate until 5 because they don't have staff.
On certain days, I have customer service that leave at 5 o'clock. And if my staff, if supervisors and dispatchers are driving that day, then I just won't have anyone in the ticket office to sell passes. The station will still be open, but there won't be anyone in there to sell tickets and passes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And the tickets and passes, during that, we had that engagement that we did with you, Haley, back in like October, I think, with Better Buses, and we were talking about maybe a ticket list system and going like other options. Is that something that you're still exploring with that? With the what is it, NCAA? ATT.
I'm there with you. Yeah, with NCAT. Yeah, that's exactly what the purpose of that partnership is, to look at, when we say fair payment, we're meaning different options. Are we going to change to a card? Are we going to have a mobile app for payment? Those kinds of considerations. So that's what we're continuing to look into.
So that maybe in the future we wouldn't need somebody there to actually sell passes. That would be like, was that like a consideration? Like an actual physical person to sell passes so they could get them another way? Because it seems like in 2022 that the only way to get a pass is to go to the transit center. Seems antiquated to me.
Right.
John, I think this is Eunice. I think we'll still have that option in terms of people wanting to go to the transit station to purchase their passes. But we also, as Haley has indicated, we want to explore other options so that people like you or other folks that don't want to go to the transit station can pick up their phone and purchase passes as easily as possible.
Right. I think it's good to have the option at the transit center. I think that's always a great option, but in a situation like this where the only option is the transit center, that creates a problem. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's good to know. And those are some of the comments that we're hoping to get as we look at other ways to make it easier for riders to purchase their passes.
Right. I mean, I know, in some places like the transit system partners with like grocery stores and things where people can purchase them, through other avenues, so that like it's like all over town. So it's not just going to one specific place, which I feel like it seems like if you have to ride the bus to get to the transit center to get the pass, but you don't have the pass to get there, you know what I mean? It seems like a great issue.
Yeah.
I feel you on that.
Yeah.
Actually,
Go ahead.
Go ahead,
Haley.
I was going to say, well, one, you can always pay in cash, but even still, that's a burden for some people. But as far as different community partnerships go for selling passes, that is something, even before working with NCAT, that we've looked into, and we've approached different, what's the word, grocers, like different grocery store companies in the area. They are unfortunately not interested, but we are thinking the same way as you are, of how can we make this easier for everyone, and let's make this more flexible. So we're on the same wavelength. Any other comments on any of the fair payment stuff? For the operating hours, I think we're a little out of order. But.
Okay. Since Barry's not here today, is there anything we need to know, LaShawn, about the staffing at RATPD Dev?
We are sitting at 56 operators currently. I have one coming out. I have one coming out in Monday, but a total of 3 in training. So one of them will come out, so that'll make us at 57.
Okay. That's good. With training. That's good. How does it look in the future, LaShawn? Going forward?
We are still working with the recruiter that is helping us get operators in. I had 2 interviews scheduled for this week and only one showed. I have people who are promising to come in, but they're not coming.
Okay. Well, we have those from time to time. People changing their minds. Okay, thank you, LaShawn. Transit committee updates. I don't believe we need that. Are there any that staff knows about transit committee updates?
No?
Okay. Okay,
Hey,
departmental
Harvey.
updates, city staff.
Hey, Harvey.
Yes.
Transit committee updates. I don't know if this is the appropriate time, but I have a question regarding um, the situation with the chair of this committee. Do we have an update as to what is happening with the chair of the committee? Because it's been several months that we've been meeting irregularly, and I just wondered if there was an update going forward.
Well, I was gonna. You want to take that, Eunice, or you want me to? You want me to handle it?
Go for it, Harvey.
Was John? I was gonna bring that up, but I was wanting to talk to staff a little bit more about that. But next month, what we're gonna do is we're going to elect a chair and a vice chair. Vice vice chair and the chairman, they are supposed to be elected January the 1st, beginning of the year. We hadn't been doing that, so we're gonna get back to the program and elect a chair and a vice chair
Thank
next
you.
month. Hopefully, we'll
John?
do it next month.
Yeah, John, just to provide a little bit of information, we got an email from the chair yesterday to cancel the meeting, and we opted to send email out to see members that will be available to participate in the meeting today. So just to give you a quick feedback as to the question you posed. And so what Harvey indicated is appropriate in terms of looking at electing a new chair, vice chair, and maybe leadership for the transit committee.
Does that answer your question, John?
Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay. As far as the transit committee, all those are necessarily self-explanatory. And is there any other business? Does anybody have any writer experiences that they would like to convey to the committee? Well, I take it everything's going good. Uh, if there's nothing that staff has to say, or any committee member, we'll adjourn the meeting.
I have one other question. This is something
Okay.
that came up um, particularly because I'm newer to the transit committee and there are other members that are newer. Would it be possible in a transit meeting to go over the transit master plan and where we're at in the implementation process?
Sure, we
An
can do that.
update?
We can do
All right.
that for next month.
Okay.
We'll put that on the agenda for next month.
Yeah.
Is there anything else? Well, it's good to have a meeting today. I love having them every month, and keeps keeps us informed as far as transit. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here as our members. I thank you. I thank each and every one of you who made it here today. And I'll see you again next month. Hopefully, I have more on board and we get more done.
Thanks, Harvey. Thank you.
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
y'all.
everyone.
Thank y'all for my support.
Bye.